TOA community, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I am Robert Linkle. I want to talk to you today about the effects of online home-based resistance exercise training on physical fitness, depression, stress, and well-being in middle-aged persons, a pilot study. Okay, big mouthful. Basically what that means is home training online efficient? Did it work? What did this study say? And should this be something that our industry continues to encourage, or is it something that we should, hey, maybe you should get back into the gym, etc. Okay. Now, mind you, I love seeing research and information like this because I am an online trainer. So I think you get an idea where, just based on that response, where this is going. But it is a pilot study. It is a work in progress. And so this will kind of take you through. This was performed in, I believe they said, in Japan, if I'm remembering correctly. And this was during the COVID lockdown kind of period. So we're gonna just walk you through this. I know it's a little bit boring. There's no pictures. There were a couple of graphs, but they were really hard to interpret. So I'm just gonna take you through it. Not that we need pictures to entertain us. I do anyhow, but I'm gonna take you through this. Okay, so during the COVID-19 pandemic, there were restrictions. Basically, people got locked down into their homes, and they said, hey, let's do a study and kind of look at these folks and see that since we're going to be doing an online training program, can they be as efficient as they have been in the last year working in the gym as they were at home? Now, mind you, some, as they talk about in this, were in both studies, and then others were not. They had some new people that came in, if I remember that correctly. The study was conducted from July to September of 2020. So March was shut down. So March, April, May, June, July. So 4 months into the kind of stay-at-home orders where everything was closed, etc. And this went through July of September 2021. So basically a full 12 months of training. The participants were recruited through a social networking service at the Nippon Sports Science University and website. The first study ran separately of the online and the in-person workouts in 2020. So you had groups that were doing in-person prior to, and then groups that were doing online after. The study used Zoom as they went through. They had, 67 participants. 28 of the participants did the online program. The rest did the in-person program. The other 39 did this. Shows you the breakups between men and women and all their numbers, their heights, their body weights, etc. Okay. Now, using Zoom, they trained twice a week. So they had 16 sessions over their 8-week cycles. And then they progressed into some different exercises. They were doing 2 to 3 sets of 10 to 15 repetitions. With the at-home exercises were leg raises. So I'm assuming either a straight leg raise laying on their back, supine, I'm not quite sure. Bodyweight squat, a rear rise, so like a hinged fly or a bent over fly. Shoulder press going overhead, rows, dips, lunges, single leg Romanian deadlifts, single leg RDLs, and push-ups, okay? And then they had resistant bands basically for any of the loads that they needed to move. The only thing they said they used for actual load was performing a sit to stand into a chair. They either used real load or tubing or bands, right, as they went through. 2 to 3 sets, 10 to 15 repetitions. And then there were a couple, they used the shoulder raises, etc., the rowing, they used the bands, everything else was body weight. They checked their fitness, they checked cross-sectional muscle fibers, they checked their isometric strength, isokinetic strength, overall strength, and then their mental stress and their depression state. They were able to, and this kind of goes through how they went through this whole thing using this 0 to 25 score and indicating if you had, poor mental mindsets or if you were depressed or etc. I don't know a whole lot about that. It's totally out of my area, so I'm just showing it to you. So if you want to go back and look at this study and see more about it, you can see that. But bottom line, going through this whole thing from checking their stress, their depression, their strength, both isokinetically and isometrically. So with tension in both directions and or just holding with no movement. And then the cross-sectional area density or strength of their muscle fibers, like actual hypertrophy of the musculature, all the way through. And then their, let's see, what else did they show on there? Anyway, went through all of this stuff. And after that whole year of training, went through the whole program, they found, in conclusion, that the online low load resistance training fitness parameters on depression and middle age, and health for middle age populations. Worked really, really well. The online training did really well for that. Kept people mentally stimulated, engaged, connected. It improved their depression if they had it, or improved their moods from where they were. If they weren't depressed, they saw a rise on pretty much everybody, okay? And then as far as their overall health and well-being and fitness, that improved. Their overall strength, they did better in environments where there were more weights and more heavier loads to manipulate. But you could basically suggest from this, their findings indicated that an online home exercise training using video communications may be effective as one recommendation exercise regimen for homebound individuals in special populations, including high-risk individuals who may need to stay home during a COVID-19 pandemic, okay, or any type of pandemic. So let's talk about this now that we kind of rambled through the whole thing. Basically, what did this show us, okay? Showed us that individuals, so let's look at it, let me start with this part, okay? In the United States, we have, easy math, 380 million people. I think it's 371 if you look at some charts, and 380 on others, whatever it is, okay? 380 million people. According to research that I've seen, John Russin and myself, that you can just Google and find on the internet, about 14 to 15% of our 380 million people have a gym membership. Okay, that doesn't necessarily mean they exercise. It just means that they have a gym membership or they're connected to something. And it's kind of estimated that about half, if not a quarter of those people actually use those gym memberships. So my math is serving me correctly. We're right around 58 million people, somewhere around in there, that actually like regularly exercise. Then the older population, it was way less than that. It was like under 1 million. And for people that were over 65, let alone actually utilizing all their equipment, etc. My point being is there's a good chunk of people out there that are paying for a gym membership, not using it. And then there are other ones that are paying for it, but you still have to travel to and from the gym. That's gas for your car, time out of your day, etc. I'm not saying this is a bad thing. I'm just saying reality. This is what's going on, okay? So if you go to the gym for $30 a month, and you do that for 2 years, okay, which was the length of this program, okay, the 2020 to 2021, the 2-year process they went through, the 2 different studies. You do that in there, $30 a month times 12 months, you've got $360, right, a year. By 2 years, you've got $720 that you could invest on kettlebells, dumbbells, bands, a plyo box, and or combo for a bench, and you're golden, okay? The Bret Contreras plyo bench box is $200 and something. You've got something to step up on, hip thrust on, glute bridge on, bench press on, done. You get a pair of adjustable dumbbells, $200, you're good to go. You get an adjustable kettlebell, $200, you're good to go. You get a full set of bands and an anchor or a pulley system, $200, you're good to go. So for $700 or $800, okay, you've got all this equipment that you now own permanently, that you don't have to go to the gym, you don't have to waste gas, you don't have to be in an environment where you're sharing equipment with other people, etc. But what do you not have? You don't have a social engagement, a social society, an environment. You don't have, not everybody creates a gym out of a training studio out of their garage, right? Like I did, like many of my clients have. They've invested in that knowing that this is their long-term answer because their online programming is working for them. Eyes are on them, they're engaged, they're seeing us, we're playing music, we're having a good time. It's kind of the best of both worlds. If you invest whatever money you're going to spend on the gym that you may or may not go to and build it into equipment in your home. Again, you may or may not use this. There are so many people out there that buy $2,000 treadmills, and what's our joke? We say that's the world's most expensive clothes hanger that we've ever seen because everybody just hangs their shower towel and their jacket on it and they never use it. It's just collecting dust, okay? We'll see that with recumbent bikes and Versa climbers and all these little devices that people go, oh, I'm gonna get into this hot and heavy, I'm motivated, I'm gonna do it. And they do it for a week or two and then reality sets in and they're not so motivated and then they're sore and next thing you know, I'm just not gonna do it anymore. Okay, but when you invest in a gym membership, somewhere you have to go there, train, you might have a training partner, you might have buddies, you have social engagement, you get to meet people. What if you're single, right? And this is a time now to be around like-minded people, other people who care about their body, who want to invest time into their health and be there. It's something that unites us, that automatically brings us one step closer together to go, hey, this might be another like-minded individual, okay? They care about exercise, care about their health and their fitness, right? So there's perks and benefits to both. To having this environment in your house, you could just spend that $360 every year for 5 years and have an amazing setup in your home, and you never have to go to the gym again, or you continue to invest. Point being is online training, I believe, number one, here to stay and here to stay for good. Okay, many folks out there think that it's another one of these fitness fads that's going to kind of come and go, and that'll be the end of it. It was simply here for the pandemic. There are many individuals like Jonathan Goodman who have been online training for 10 plus years, literally wrote the book on it, and has been extremely successful all the way through. I think there's a place for both of these, but I also think there's a very good opportunity for this online training option where I'm just going to send you programming and you're going to go to the gym and do that on your own. That's still an online coaching and training model that many people like Bret Contreras, like John Goodman, like John from the Pain Development Center, John Russin, thank you. Keith's listening to me outside as I'm blanking. John Russin, I mean, a lot of different coaches out there are doing that format. Myself, I have programming that we offer online, but I want to see my people. I want to see them. I want to coach them. I want to have eyes on them, set the tempos, work with the cues, help them select their loads. Hey, this isn't heavy enough. Let's level things up a little bit. You know what? That's a little too much. Why don't you grab the 7.5s instead of the 10s? But they've got to have the gear, right? So it's really nice to have a research article, something that we can hold on to and go, look at the gains, look at the improvements. And again, the article goes into and it shows the numbers and the improvements on all these very cool graphs. I'm sure if you're a researcher and you can read those graphs, to me, it was just a bunch of numbers and lines on the graph. It wasn't even something that was like, you could look at it and go, oh, here's this, functioning chart that I understand. I don't even know how I would have explained it to you other than simply reading you the results here. You can go and check it out and get a little bit more information for yourself, but it's nice to see something we got from ICE, the Institute of Clinical Excellence, in their Wednesday hump day email that they send out. They said, hey, score one for online training, and I agree. It's really nice to see some information that comes out that goes, hey, if at bare minimum, this is great for your overall health and wellness, for reducing stress, for reducing depression, improving cognition and load, but also improving and at least not maintaining strength and cross-sectional muscle hypertrophy, if not slightly improving it. The only negative to the home training that we really kind of see is that we don't have enough variety of load. And many times you'll say, hey, 10s are too light and 15s are too heavy. Some 12.5s would be perfect. And that's where being at the gym, you would have that option, where being at home here, you may not. So things that we're going to work with an online program, just going to have to be a little bit more creative with our programming. How do you overcome something like that? Start working eccentric based negative tempos. You start doing higher rep volume burnouts. You start doing something that will create this new stimulus that your body's going to have to adapt to. And you do that 2 or 3 times in a row. And eventually those 15s are now doable because you've built enough muscle fiber to where you can make that jump. Where simply going to the 12.5s would probably have done the same thing for you, but you could have continued doing the exact same, linear progression or whatever it is that you were doing before without having to get so creative. So online coaches, online programming. The challenge is set before us to be very creative with the programs that we do and to be able to visually and verbally coach your clients more efficiently than you could in the past. In the past, I could literally stand in front of a client and fix my posture simply by looking at them, having them look at me. They would make the mirrored adjustment and go, oh, he's showing me I need to adjust my shoulders and posture, where they can't see me now. They have to hear me cue that. And I'll be watching one of my 7 clients on screen who's rounding at the shoulders, and I'll say, check those shoulders, let's keep them in and tight. And I'll see everybody correct, who all of them were already doing it right, except for one person, okay? And that one person got the message. But did I need to single that person out? Do I need to go, hey, Sharon, again, with the shoulders, what the hell? No, you find a way to really safely and efficiently coach your clients, encourage everybody to do the right things without nitpicking, without creating this environment, this stress where they feel like they're on camera and they're constantly being watched, even though they are. That's what they're paying for. You don't want to feel like it's a one-way camera, right? It's just focused on them, and any little mistake they make, they're going to get called out. That is the art. That is the beauty of coaching efficiently, effectively, safely, and in a fun fashion that allow your clients to go, you know what, this is awesome. I get to do this from my house. I get to do it with my equipment. I'm still with my buddies. We still have a social engagement, and I'm being coached. And I'm certain he is watching, because anytime I feel like I'm getting out of position or my back starts to hurt, I hear this cue come across the microphone, right? That encourages something that now fixes my issue. That's the sign and the practices of a really good coach. And I know many of you out there are doing that. Please continue to do so. And if you ever need justification that online training is a valid style of training that works exceptionally well and can do a lot of good things, here's one of some other studies that we've seen now that are coming out on this, especially over the last 2 to 3 years, to really support online training as a great option for many of our folks, including our older populations, are finding this to be a very efficient way to train and maximize their time in their day. Any comments, questions, hit me up down below. I love and appreciate you all. I hope you're doing well. And until next time, continue to fight your good fight against sarcopenia. Head over to trainingtheolderadult.com. Make sure you like and subscribe the video. Please share it out with any of your friends. Anybody needs to hear this, share it over to them. Love and appreciate you, and thank you for helping us grow the channel. Hit that subscribe button, hit the bell. Make sure you don't miss any of the videos that we put up. Thank you so much. Until next time, everybody, take care. We love you, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.